Hey guys, YST here and welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we are on the test server and we're going to be doing a showcase on the new fusion Bivald the THORN, Spirit Affinity Sacred Order Legendary Champion, and he is HP based. Something out of Assassin's Creed. Now it is my first time on the test server, so this is really exciting for me. And today we're basically gonna do some damage tests, we're gonna take him into the Doom Tower, potential PvP content, and just have a blast of him so you guys get an insight of how great or how meh this champion can be. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright then, so in terms of how I geared this champion today, I really wanted to maximize his potential of damage because of one of his abilities, and what better way to do that than pumping him into that savage gear. So this is kind of like a universal build, but of course when I go for the pure damage in the Dragon's Lair, I'm going to be optimizing this so we can really see his potential, right? But as a kind of overall build, this is what I'm going to be rocking with for the Doom Tower, etc. So let's go over his kit. So A1 has a 40% chance once booked of applying a provoke debuff for 1 turn, and also heals the ally with the lowest HP by 15% of the damage inflicted. So this ability here is really nice, especially for bosses like the Magma Dragon for instance, where you really want to place those provoke debuffs so your other champions aren't mitigated, right? And of course it comes down to the damage multipliers on that A1 to know how much your other allies are going to be healing with that 15%, right? The provoke debuff can be placed even if this attack lands a weak hit. So the kind of way that they promoted this champion was kind of a Hydra killer, but I personally don't see it because you can't place provoke on the Hydra heads unless they're planning to bring in another head that's going to have that provoke mechanic. Then on the A2 with admonition of barbs, attacks all enemies 2 times, and the first hit has a 100% chance once you book him of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn, and the second hit has a 100% chance of applying a leech debuff for 2 turns. Also places a 25% strengthen buff on this champion for 2 turns. The leech and the provoke debuffs can be placed even if this attack lands as weak hits. So the way that I actually see this champion with this non-weak hit ability, well technically he can weak hit but the debuffs can place through it, just for any of you guys who get a misconception there. It's still really nice because it allows you to bring this champion into the Doom Tower against those dungeon waves and PvP content, and know that you're still going to place those provoke debuffs even if they're the negative affinity. So I'm really liking this. It's kind of like a crossover between a void champion and just your standard affinity based champions, right? And I really like this. Provoke is one of the strongest buffs to keep the CCs against those waves, and of course leech allows your other champions to heal off that with a benefit. So I'm a big fan of this A2 here, and because it hits 2 times, I really want to see how much the damage multipliers scale so we know how much damage we're dealing here. On his A3 with Brian Nexus, he attacks all enemies and damage increases by 5% for each debuff on each enemy. Also heals all allies by 20% of the damage inflicted and places a shield buff on them for 2 turns equal to 20% of the damage inflicted. Now through a bit of testing, this is a really nice A3 ability, but we'll talk about the damage a little bit later on once we get into it. But when you think about this kit, what screams to mind? And for me, it's very similar to a miscreated monster for the Spider's Den, because you're applying that shield, you're applying onto all of your champions, and that way the Spiderlings are going to have a bit of a trouble getting through that shield. And of course it coincides with the A2, which places that provoke, so you know where the Spiderlings are hitting, and that is your Bivald the THORN. So technically you could put him in a high resistance, high tanky build, place those leeches, have a strength on himself, which is a nice damage mitigation, and it's really a nice pairing between a Brian Nexus and admonition of barbs. Also that A1 for those provokes, for those single targets. Now heading into his passive on Dethorned, decreases the damage taken by all allies from enemies under provoke debuffs by 15%. Now when I first ever read this kit I wasn't a fan, and I don't think I still am, to be honest. Reason being is, if a champion is under a provoke and they're attacking your Bivald, hypothetically, then what other champions are being mitigated here for them to take less of a hit, if that makes sense? Unless it's a AoE champion like a Biggin or maybe a champion that does random attacks on his A1 and you're kind of mitigating damage there. But overall, I don't see this as super amazing. Now, I think it was Hell Hades, correct me if I'm wrong, and he pointed out in a previous video that if they just made this mechanic a leech, you'd be looking at an S tier amazing champion here, because then you're getting damage mitigation from leech, which will coincide with his A2 for those Hydra boss heads, because you're able to place it through those poison clouds, get those leeches up, and get some damage mitigation. That way would make him so amazing. If they was to ever change this champion, I would agree with Hades here of changing that ability for sure. Like, he already has the leech in his kit. Why not make this a damage mitigation from leech debuffs? It'll just be more universally used, right? Instead of those niche spaces. His aura is increased ally HP in all battles by 28%. And I'm always a fan of the all battles capabilities because all of your champions can benefit from this, right? In terms of the gear that I've chosen today, we've gone for a savage build and also a perception so we can land those debuffs and really get the crossover between his damage and also his CC abilities with those leeches and the provokes. Let's just briefly go through the gear here. So we've got a crit rate and HP percent. Of course, he's a HP based champion. We want to be stacking that. Speed and crit damage and some defense percent for sustainability. We've got speed and crit rate. We have got crit damage on the gauntlets with a nice crit rate roll. HP percent on the chest plate. I really wish I had a 6-star piece, but in Savage, my account isn't really stacked on that behalf. And then we've got speed on the boots with a crit rate roll and some defense percent. On his banner here, we have gone for accuracy, crit damage on the amulet, and then we've got HP on the ring with a nice HP percent roll there. So I am occasionally going to be switching up the build throughout this video to maximize pure damage without his debuffs. And then of course, when we go into the Doom Tower, I'll be switching back to this. The Masteries, we have gone for the offensive tree. Let me just move myself out the way. And of course, because this is the test build and I haven't seen how other people are playing this champion, I've just gone for Helm Smasher because if he's a wave clearing champion, which I think he is in my opinion, and great for progression, Helm Smasher is really nice to pair with those savage builds. Now, if you start to face bosses, you may want to go to the War Master Mastery to kind of chunk down the bosses, right? And also you could go for Eagle Eye, which will be really nice to increase those accuracy stats if your priority is his debuffs in those provokes. So he's really kind of versatile in how you can build him, but each to their own, but this is how I'm showcasing it today. If I just move myself back over here, we can also showcase the defensive tree, where you could potentially go for Retribution and Deterrence to get the benefits from his A1 ability with those provokes. So once again, many ways you can do this. The overall stats for my universal build is going to be a 69,000 HP, a 1.9k attack, 2.4k defense. We're going really fast here so we can cycle those abilities, 100% crit rate, 225% crit damage, and enough accuracy to place debuffs in those dungeons, right? But of course, if you're trying to get the top of the Doom Tower, you're gonna have to go for around 300 to 350 depending on who you're facing. Unless you're bringing in like a Nari the Lucky for those decreased resistance, then you can afford to drop it down to these kind of thresholds. So yeah, that's my Bivald of THORN. Let's just quickly bump him into a new kit to showcase his damage, and then we'll get back into the video. Alright then, so we've just switched up his gear a little bit, and now he's at a 80,000 HP. We've got a 271% crit damage, and then we've gone for 77% crit rate because we've got a Bad El Khazar in the lead position to boost our crit rate, right? So let's just head into the dungeons, and we're going to go into the Dragon's Lair. So let's get into this run now. We've just fixed up the team. If it wants to load in, and we'll do stage 25 as well. Don't you worry about it, guys. So we're just going to do this. Drop defense on weaken. We're going to place those poison debuffs. And the reason we've got a Tomb Lord in here is because the amount of debuffs that's on the champions, his A3 is going to scale off that, right? So I'm trying to mid-max here by placing some extra poisons. So let's just get this on. And then we're going to place the A3 here. And now we're going to hit with the A3. Now this is the one that attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 5% for each debuff on the enemy. And they're looking pretty stacked right now. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're stacked. Let's get down to a 1 speed and let's go. 136,000 I seen there was the cap. Now the shield is really nice, but probably would have been a one shot with some better gear. My gear is not the best in the game, but let's just try that one more time with the different ability. So let's try that one more time here. So drop defense and weaken. Poisons. And then now we're going to choose the A2. So we're getting around a 40k per hit, which is around 80,000. Now let's just try not to kill the rest of the enemies here. And then we can showcase the A1. Do A1 here and try this one more time. 65,000. So overall, we're looking at around, what was it, 140,000 for the AoE. Then we had about 80k on the double hit. And then we also had the 65,000 on that A1 ability. It's not too bad, but in terms of full damage, I was expecting a little bit more from what we was doing there. What was that? 146,000. So let's go into a stage 25 run and actually do a full run now with the switched over gear. So let's just switch him back out. Okay then, so we've just switched over to the older gear that I showcased in the start of the video. And now let's see how he can perform with his actual gear on. Now, this is a build that I'm actually more of a fan of because you're making full use of his kit, right? Now, look at those provokes, look at those leech debuffs, and if you start to bring in other champions that's struggling to survive, like, there's some nice damage as well. Like, when you consider what he's doing with the huge shields, we've got the leeches, the damage mitigation with his strengthened buff, it's really nice for sure. So let's see how fast we can do this. That's our A2 there. I'm pretty sure some of the other content creators are going to be able to smack a bit harder with their gear, but on my account, I've only been farming Stage 25 Fire Knight for not too long, right? Because I only recently made my Poison Explosion comp, so my Savage gear is kind of limited, and that 275% crit damage is probably the best that I could do in that gear set. Oh, we got a little bit of a freeze on there. Who's that? Oathbound. How dare you do that to my showcase? There we go. Get a nice little cleanse on. And boom. Sit down with that 44,000 there. Pretty nice. Now, the main reason that we keep using Tomb Lord, of course, is to try and stack those debuffs for once we get to the boss. So, drop defense and weaken. Nice little leech there. Some poisons. Some drop attack. And those debuffs are ramping up, and we got a 105,000. That is pretty sweet. So let's just keep cycling through here. Can we get some more poisons on? Keep those debuffs up, guys. And boom. 70,000 with the double hit. Stack those debuffs back up again. Let's go. What I like to see. We're about one debuff short, but 85,000 or 81,000 on that one. That's not too bad, and I'm liking the debuffs that we're putting out here with that leech. For sure, it's nice for that sustainability for the rest of your allies. Like, nobody here is mitigated. Even if Bad Elkazar wasn't here, I'm pretty sure that leech debuff, as long as we had War Master or Giant Slayer on, will still be performing really well, right? We're looking at around, what was it, about a 2 minutes run? Ooh, 100,000 there. Let's go. Smack there with a 52,000. Come on, one more tick with the poisons, and there we go. So what was his overall result here? So we had a 2.1 million, which is substantial, guys. I am not disappointed in that whatsoever, when you consider the healing that his stuff is doing as well. So the next place I really want to showcase is going to be the Spider's Den. Now, bear with me, the gear set's not amazing, right? For the Spider's Den, we really want to drop off that damage. Actually, do you know what? Let's do that right now. I think that's a good idea. Okay then, so we've just switched up the gear from Bivald, and now we've taken those crit damage gauntlets off, so we're not smacking down those spiderlings, right? But we're going to open up here with that provoke ability. Just had to set some presets, and look at that, guys. Burn coming out, with those Heart Seekers and the reset. And look at the size of that shield. Coming like a miscreated monster V2. We just have to sit and pretty much wait for the Spiderlings to burn now. And we'll be looking at a nice successful run. Now, if you guys do fuse this champion and decide you want to put him into your spider team, just make sure that your other champions are not killing the spiders as quickly, right? With those AoE abilities. So boom, get that 10 meter down. A1's coming through with our cold hearts. It's going to be a close one, but I think we'll get it done. How many champions left with a burn? Just one. Oh, there we go. We managed to get a successful run at 51 seconds. Of course, if you tune it with a Renegade and you kind of reduce the damage on your Bivald, you'll be looking at a nice little 30 to 40 second run for sure. So really nice for the spiders then. So next up here, I want to take him into the Doom Tower, which is going to be pretty sweet. We're going to run a team like this, and pretty much in all of the Doom Tower waves, I see him being really significant for progression because of that. Even if you get those weak hits on the wrong affinities, you're still able to place those provoked debuffs. And I think that is huge, right? Like when you're facing those Mortu Macabres or whoever you're trying to target, you don't have to worry about those affinities to place those debuffs. Of course, you might get those actual weak hits where you're not hitting as hard. But if you're looking for purely the debuffs, like look at this, guys. 100% chance, it's proccing on everybody, and it's really consistent. I'm a huge fan of this. Let's just get through A1s here. We are in the Eternal Dragon, trying to showcase his skills for the minions. Alright, look at these guys just killing themselves from under Priest Brogni. Boom. Get some A1s in. I am a lazy creator because I didn't set no presets, and here we go. We're going to focus on the boss and look at a great result here. So there's the leeches. I should have saved that, to be honest. We should be okay. We're getting those cooldowns. Come through the burns. Come on, Eternal Dragon. Nice. Go through here. Decrease accuracy. We don't want those debuffs on. Sorry about that, guys. I really wanted to showcase it properly there with the provokes, but we'll wait for his next cycle. Nice and easy. We really need to get a decreased accuracy on, Mr. Geomancer. There we go. Nice little provoke coming through. And even if Bogov doesn't place it, he's a bit of accuracy anyway. Like, this is really nice, right? Getting that leech up, getting those provokes up for your AoE champions as well to heal back up. There we go. There's that single target from the priest. So provoke's pretty much only going to help out on this dude. But in terms of these ones, you're really just placing a leech, right? Especially for the boss as well. And there we go. We got a 71 turns with a best time of 69 with the same team. So pretty nice to put in there for the wave clears and also to keep that priest under control. So next up, we are going to go into the Magma Dragon, of course. He places those provokes and it's worth showcasing him there, right? So let's switch this team up a little bit. Let's get Nari the Lucky in there. He can coincide with him pretty nice. Where's my boy Tomb Lord? Spirit Affinities. Where is he? There he is. This is aura for... Ooh, for Doom Tower. Let's do that. Why not? So here we're going to be looking at a pretty fun run as well because we got the block debuffs, of course. Or should I say the provokes from our Nari the Lucky. And we also got it on our Bivald. We should have done a higher floor, but it's okay. We're just doing testing today, right? So what you guys have to focus on here is those provoked debuffs with the A1 ability and also that A2. We never got it there, unfortunately. But there we go. Nice little provoke and that leech debuff to keep our champions healing up like so that you see on that Lydia the Death Siren. And then, of course, once his one runs out, Nari the Lucky could potentially come through. Or he could just place it on his A1 with that 40% chance, I believe. Or was it a 60%? But it's on Nari right now, which is nice. And of course, as those debuffs are ramping up, he's dealing more damage, which is great, right? And there's that decreased accuracy from our Nari the Lucky. More provokes. And I hope you guys are seeing what's happening here. Now, you can put someone else instead of a Nari, but if you've got two people placing those provokes, they can go back and forth and really keep this magma dragon under control. So we don't really have to sit through the whole of this boss. It's self-explanatory. He's placing provokes, he's placing leech, and dealing extra damage according to amount of debuffs on that boss, which is pretty sweet. Now you can pretty much carry him into many of the waves and stuff. Let's just pick a random one. We'll do stage 41. And let's just do this team. I'm not sure when I set that up, but apparently I did. Oh, some nice affinities as well for him as well. So come through here, and there's those provokes, there's those leech debuffs, and we're really going to be able to keep them under control, right? Especially if you've got a reset with a Kaimar for wave 2. Nice little hit there. Reset with Kaimar. Now we're going to get those provokes on again. Boom. Pretty sweet. There we go. Can somebody take a turn? And they're all coming at our Bivald. And he hits really nice with that A2, right? Or was it that A3 with the shields? Placing those shields on our allies, protecting us, and also doing the heals as well. By 20% of the damage inflicted. So come on, Bivald. Let's get another A2 in. I like the animations of the A2. There we go. More provokes. Now we pretty much keep them under CC no matter the affinity on each of the waves, which is great for progression. Especially against those tedious waves where you really want to keep them under control. There's that. Ooh, look at that, guys. That animation, you can't deny. It looks pretty sweet, right? Alright, coming through here. I did actually try this guy on the clan boss. I was a bit underwhelmed. I tried to kind of maximize the debuffs to see how much damage we can do. Maybe paired with like a Draco Morph and him in a budget unkillable setting. There's potential, but for the clan boss, apart from that leech for the mid-game clan boss, I didn't see too much potential there. Now, let's go into the arena. J Gigs. Well, there's a few of our creators here with their crazy teams. There's my boy Deadwood, Hell Hades with his Incubus. Pretty fun on the test server. But obviously a big shout out to J Gigs. I know he's doing a move at the moment or something to Australia. So make sure you guys go drop him a subscription as well while he's away. And hopefully we can help him on that goal to 20,000. So let's go with a little team like this, some sustainability, some provokes, and hopefully some damage once we've applied that drop defense, right? So come on, let's do this. So let's just do a little strip here. Get our block debuffs on, so the head of, not the head of Torment. What am I saying? It's not the Hydra boss. So Torment cannot do anything to us here. And then we are going to place a provoke. Very nice. Getting out that Duchess, reflecting the damage from the shield of our Underpriest Brogni. Now we're going to strip everybody. Now we've got a nice amount of debuffs to come through with that ability, right? On his A2. Let's get a reset on while we got the block debuffs. Here we go. And now we're going to... There is some nice debuffs, so let's try Smack. Pretty nice, I must say so. Nothing in crazy. Obviously, we never had like 10 debuffs up. Let's just strip again. Boom. We need to get that Necrit out of the equation. And let's just strip some stuff here. Ooh, I really wanted to get that block debuffs off. But let's just come through here again. Nice. Right. We should be okay from this point. We just have to get this Duchess out of the equation. There we go. Pretty much just the Necrit left, and we'll be looking at a nice little run here. There we go. And one more here. Oh, Underpriest Brogni, you had to steal his shine, didn't you? For God's sake. But yeah, shout out J Gigs. Now, is there some other content creators that have some okay teams here? I guess we could try something like this, but we're going to need some more support. Let's get a Duchess. Where is a Duchess? Yeah, we could probably show a bit of thing here. He'd probably still win. Well, you could probably get some luck out of here.
You suck!
Alright, let's get some provokes out. Nice, we managed to get it on the Ertiga there. And his Leorius smacked me. Get a little revive going. Get a little strip. There we go. And let's get a little AoE going. Man, we're going to be here for ages. Okay, we got a nice little reflection there. We just need to get one more Underpriest Broccoli going. Holy crap, Necro is OP. Strip that. But I'm trying to do a showcase Deadwood. There we go. Nice little A1. We need to get some block debuffs on and another shield. Underpriest. There we go. Oh my god. Can we do something here? Please. I'm going to be here all day trying to do this showcase. Oh my lord. We need to get that freaking Rio Bone Spear out of the equation. Can you provoke her? There we go. We did something. Alright, I think we managed to showcase the skills here. I don't think we're going to win this. Man, leave my Duchess alone. Please, please. If you're going to be a good fusion, you need to kill this freaking champion. No. Leave him alone. Alright, decrease attack. Is it ready? It's not. Fia, let's go. Yes, we got the survivability. Leorius. Alright, come on. No, the shield. What kind of end game teams are these? Deadwood. Alright. Strip here. Please, no, 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 no. He healed up again. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this in the video. Oh my god, why is it so hard to do a showcase in 2022?
A few moments later.
Killed my Duchess, he killed my Duchess. He killed my Duchess. Alright, Deadwood, I'll give you the W. There you go. The Clan Boss Master himself. Make sure you guys go drop him a sub while you're here. Okay then, so let's just go into the Stage 21 Faction Wars before we wrap up the video as the final showcase. And there we go. Look at those provokes. And that leech is going to be really handy in staying alive as well, right? There's those True Fears. Nice AoE. Look at that. Now for Faction Wars, I think he's going to be MVP for sure. That was a nice smack, man. Well, I know who I'm going to be using in this Faction Wars, for sure. Alright, there we go. More provokes for Wave 2, so you can keep people like those man-eaters under control, so they're not placing those unkillable buffs. Or Norog, so he doesn't do those block buffs, right, on our champions, which is really annoying. So, come on then. Drop the fence. Have we get another AoE in. There we go. Look at this. So in terms of Faction Wars, he's definitely got that value. So in my kind of conclusion here, for this champion, plays that's getting him, do I think he's going to be endgame meta? No. Do I think he's going to be outstanding for the Hydra boss? Potentially for some good support with the Leech debuff. And my place where I feel like he shines is going to be Doom Tower rotations in keeping those waves under control. Some PvP content for mid-game. Obviously, we just seen there, had a bad experience there in the arena. A bit of a noob moment. And yeah, just an overall nice support champion who can heal, play shields for the Spider's Den. And he's definitely one that I'm going to go for regardless, for content of course. But yeah, man, he's really nice. And I always say, if it's a faction, or not faction, if it's a fragment champion, it's always worth going for in my opinion, right? Because they're usually easier. But the way that they're always dropping fusions, I don't know. It's really hard to keep up with, right? Especially with all of these Summon Rush events getting thrown at our face. So yeah, that is going to be all for the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe button. We're on road to 10,000 subscribers, and it'd be amazing to get there with your guys' help. Yeah, that's pretty much the showcase. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.